Back in 2014, I was looking at my project car and wondered to myself, do I have to spend thousands of dollars to get a quality paint job, or is this something I can handle at home? If you're like me, then this video series is for you. I had no paint and body experience whatsoever when I started my project car, but I am thrilled at the way that it turned out. Welcome to Paint Jobs for Newbies. Here at the Hot Rod Reverend channel, mostly I'm known for the wide block Ford overhead valve V8. I'm also known for mid-50s Fords. But the feature car, the 1955 Ford Fairlane that I've owned since I was 16, it really is a head turner. I've taken it to shows, although I'm not a big car show guy. It's won trophies, it's won awards. I really didn't expect that when I started the whole game plan of learning how to paint, learning how to do auto body work, rust removal, sheet metal repair, all those kinds of things. I really just wanted the car with a quality paint job that I could drive to the office, drive to church, take it on the track, go around town, go to a parking lot, and really not have to be worried about little ding here, little ding there, all that kind of thing. What ended up happening was the paint job really turned out spectacular, and I'm so thrilled with how it looks. Let me give you 5 quick tips for this introductory video. Number 1, plan your work. You've got to think ahead in this game. What I would say to you is consider how you're going to take your car apart, especially if the only space you have is a small garage like I've got. If you're going to store your parts in the basement, how you're going to keep track of your hardware, what's going to be put up in the attic, maybe the rafters of your garage. You've also got to think ahead too on the kind of products you're going to be using. You're going to be using hopefully some type of a 2-stage paint. Is it going to be enamel? Is it going to be some type of urethane? Or are you going to do a base coat, clear coat? Single-stage urethane. If you don't understand what some of those terms are right now, I really encourage you to look those things up. Watch some more videos on YouTube about the different types of paint that are available these days. There's all kinds of things that are out there, and most of the paints that you're going to be using always include having to use some type of a hardener, some type of a agent, some type of a chemical that's going to make that paint cure the way that it needs to. Plan your work ahead of time. This is so critical. I'd even say to you, for me, having to work outside quite a bit to maybe be in the yard, I'll be sanding stuff down. I knew I was going to be doing things outdoors. I had planned to work in the weather. For instance, in the wintertime, I actually built a portable paint booth in my basement. Now, this paint booth may look like something out of a horror movie, but it was filtered and it was ducted out through a window, filtered again in the basement. Now, the basement was not a walkout basement, but it was heated. So you talk about planning your work. I had a great space to take care of body parts in the wintertime, or maybe when it was raining outside. I could still work on my project when I wanted to. I wasn't limited to what was going on outdoors. And when you also think about planning your work, you also have to consider what type of equipment you're going to need. Now, a lot of times what comes up for us in our projects is we don't budget. And I get it. A lot of times we have no idea what to budget. To be frank, when I started this process, I just knew I did not want to spend several grand on a paint job. I wanted to try to get it done myself. What I did do when I was planning the workout was I did go through some catalog, maybe from Tip Tools. I also looked at some things from DeVille Biss. I kind of researched a little bit on spray guns. These days, it's very proper to get something from Harbor Freight. I think they got the Black Widow now. I've never tried that gun, but I've heard a lot of great talk about how well it sprays. Some guys want to do an HVLP system. Should you use a air compressor? How much air do you need? There is some thought process to this before you just launch out, disassemble your car and think you're going to grab a gallon of paint and go to town. So do some research when you're planning this out. You end up saving yourself a lot of money and a lot of headaches ahead of time before you even get started. Tip number 2 is to be willing to experiment. And I really enjoyed learning some things about welding, especially with the MIG welder. That was a lot of fun, but getting scrap metal out, figuring out some of the settings with how fast the wire speed should go to how hot the juice should be to put that arc down there on the metal. And you can tell though, things really turned out well, and I learned quite a bit. You got to be willing to experiment. Sometimes with sandpaper, sometimes with different methods of spraying and the practicing and all that kind of thing. Be willing to experiment on how to remove the old paint or how to remove the old rust. There are different ways that you can do that. One of the most popular is sandblasting, but you got to be careful about how much heat you get on your body panel or you warp it. There's also methods of paint removal. Some guys will use a sanding drum. Other guys will use maybe something like a DA with a 36 or 40 grit disc, or some guys want to use a wire wheel, or maybe you want to use chemical stripper, but you're just going to have to find out what works best for you. Be willing to experiment. Number 3, use quality materials. Now we're going to have a separate video on a number of these different things, but for instance, most of the spraying I did, red and white color, even the clear coat, I did with the Finish Line gun. Now this is the Newbies, it's the FLG4. I think it's, what is that, FLG 670. This is a really good gun. It's a little bit of an air hog, meaning that it takes up a lot of CFM to spray, but I really like this gun. Some of the other guns I used were a little cheaper, like this one right here, this old one from Harbor Freight from 15 years ago or so. I use this to spray on my primer, and you can also tell I've been using Harbor Freight's disposable cups. It worked great though. That was a good savings, but I've even got a nice starting line gun here from the Newbies as well. That works well. Now, while we're talking about guns, I will say this, things really vary in the gun world. There's a lot of copies that are out there that you can get on eBay or on Amazon. I'll have some links here in the description for the stuff that I've used on my car. Do some research, do some homework on that, figure out what's best for you. Just know too, a lot of times what you can do is actually just try these guns out. If they don't work the way you like, or they don't work well with your compressor, return them and get your money back. But you do want to use things that work well. A lot of times you can get good quality without paying an exorbitant amount of money. My guns are decent, they're okay. You wouldn't use them in a paint and body shop that works every day, but for me painting this car, one-time shot, these guns were just fine. You really want to go with quality paints, and this is Tamco clear coat right here. I think this is about $200 a gallon or so. You're going to probably spend the most amount of money when you think about the paint that you're going to be using. If it's single stage urethane, if it's a base coat clear coat, you don't want to scrimp on that. You want to use something that is a little bit higher grade than just tractor paint when you think about your car. Don't even scrimp on tape. Some guys will use cheap tape from Walmart, and then they'll have a problem with the masking tape, and the goo will stick to the body panel. Use something from 3M. Use this good stuff right here. This is very good masking tape. The adhesive will release from the body panel. I never had any trouble with my masking tape at all. We'll have separate stuff in the video about that. But I would even dare say use a good bonnet when you think about buffing and you think about trying to get that right finish on your clear coat or on your single stage urethane. You really want to use quality materials and quality tools to get the job done. Tip number 4 is to think outside the box. If you're limited on space, limited on budget, and you're not the guy down the street that has a professional paint booth, you may not have all the equipment, you're going to have to do some things like what I did. Now, number 1, let me just say this. I built a portable paint booth out of PVC, 3/4 inch pipe, and basically 4 to 5 mil drop cloth plastic, and sealed that off. I used whole house air filters to filter the air in and out. I ended up buying off of Facebook Marketplace an air handler, a whole house air handler, the big huge squirrel cage that you had wired up and plug it into the outlet, and it moved air like nobody's business. It did a tremendous job. When it comes to thinking outside the box, one of the things that happened with my car in particular was that I did something most people don't do, and that is this. I painted the car completely with single-stage urethane, both the red and the white. I was pretty happy with how it turned out, and when I was getting ready to go to the buffing stage, I had a guy that had retired from GM who came to me and said, Dan, why don't you think about sanding that down a little bit to 1,000 or maybe 800 grit, and then using a clear coat. It'll really make that red and white pop. And sure enough, that's what I did. Now, it took a whole lot more time to do that, but boy, I was really happy with the results. And as you can tell, this car looks pretty sharp. Which leads me right into tip number 5, enjoy the process. You're gonna have to take your time if you're gonna be painting this car at home, painting it in the garage. There were so many times I dealt with schedule, so many times that I dealt with pulling out other pieces of equipment out of the garage, personal items, sporting goods, whatever it might be. It was really always a shared space. It made it a real challenge to paint the car, but taking my time helped me to enjoy the process. And I really like the finished product of this 1955 Ford Fairlane Club sedan. I really encourage you, if you can and you're able, to pull panels off the car. Maybe it's a fender, maybe it's a hood, or the doors, or the trunk lid, and address those items one by one as you go. One of the things that I found is that whenever I would finish one of the pieces, I really had a sense of satisfaction of getting both of the fenders done, or maybe getting the hood and the trunk lid done, and knowing that it wasn't too long before I could paint the rest of the body, put all these panels back together. One thing before we go on enjoying the process, and if you do something like that where you're blowing the car apart and you're painting the panels separately, if you're using more than 1 gallon of paint, make sure that you mix both of those gallons just in case those paints were not mixed in the same batch. You want everything to end up being the same tint. It could be the same color and it could be the same paint code, but sometimes they're just a little bit off from can to can if they weren't mixed in the same batch. Well guys, thanks for joining us today on Paint Jobs for Newbies. We're going to get into part 1 pretty soon. We'll see how the views go. If guys are interested in all the content, we'll keep dropping videos. But in part 1, what we'll do, we'll get into all the equipment that I've used. We'll go through the guns, we'll go through sanding blocks, maybe sandpaper choices. I'll talk a little bit about the paint, but we'll also get into air compressor, some of the other tools that I've used to get this car done. I think it'll be a real big help to you. Thanks for joining us today on Paint Jobs for Newbies. We'll see you on the next one.